Welcome to our new guest. We will now be talking about modular security for commercial satellite projects. And we have on stage Stefan Langhammer, your team lead information and cybersecurity at OHB Digital Connect GmbH. OHB Digital Connect GmbH is one of the sponsors of CYSAT, the third edition. We would like to warmly thank you. So, Stefan Langhammer, I will just present your biography shortly. Yeah. So you've been navigating the seas before being tempted by space exploration. With a bachelor in nautical science and a master in computer science, you've had an officer career in the German Navy. Then you've switched for cybersecurity in 2015 for the German Armed Forces, where you worked on penetration testing and knowledge management. You became an IT security specialist for Atlas Electronic GmbH as lead security manager, and in 2022, you conquered your current position of, I am going to say it again, team leader cyber and information security, where you take care of various OHB projects. So we will be talking about commercial satellite projects, and we know that commercial space actually represents a huge share of the budget allocated to the space. I will leave the floor to you and collect questions from the audience, but also prepare my own.
Yes, thank you. So it's a bit strange to be standing here right after my colleague Manuel Hoffmann, but the topic is a bit different and also special to us. With a history on military satellites and very high-level security requirements, you often have the problem in-house that people are like, please don't do security for us, because they expect that this will cost large amounts of money. And also, yesterday, I heard someone here on the panel say it very well. Everybody's talking about security, but it is very rarely implemented. And I think the reason for this, one of the big reasons, is they always see security as this endless topic. And so we were looking into ideas just to get people started in security. And what we ended up with is this idea of modular security. So the title is slightly backwards, and it could also read how to do security for less money. But I didn't want to put this on the slide for obvious reasons. So I have to... This one? Yeah, OK. So I put my idea to Dell-E, so the ChatGPT version for images, and the result is pretty OK. So my hope is just to start with one module, so a self-contained security concept for projects that can then be extended as the project grows. And I really hope that in 20 minutes or so, I will have given everybody here, especially project and security managers, just some new ideas how to approach this project, this concept, security, and how to sell it. Yeah, OK. I was already introduced. Just to reiterate, I think I'm slightly special in that I have a history both in penetration testing, but also now as an information security manager. So I combine just these two sides. And I will also take the opportunity to say a few words about OHB. The OHB, many people hopefully know, is actually OHB System, the large satellite integrator that's been around for 30 years and has built satellites like Galileo or the SARA satellites for the German Armed Forces, and will pretty much build whatever large satellite or also small satellites you need. Also part of OHB Systems are my colleagues from the cryptographics department, who will build very high-level cryptographic uplinks. So think of it as a very expensive version of the ARCA satellite uplink. But OHB is much larger. We also have this middle part with the aerospace department. You may have heard of Rocket Factory Augsburg, where they try to build rockets in Germany, which is a highly interesting topic, we are unfortunately not involved in. And then there's OHB Digital on the right, where I'm coming from, where we just try to build, not try to build, we are building ground segments for space system, but also go into a wide range of different topics. Examples are satellite uplinks, downstream services, some AI, for example, for geo information, but also satellite-independent information services like programming, security services for smaller companies. And also we have a very interesting company, it's called OHB Teledata, who is doing embedded communication security for the German railway infrastructure. So maybe this topic will also make its way to the space system, would be very interesting. Regarding security, we're also not specialized, we just offer a broad range of portfolio. So ground segment security, rail, maritime security, and also in our company, OHB Digital Services, we offer penetration testing, awareness campaigns, and also incident management. And then once again, the space side with encryption, but also some interesting work on tamper detection and securing the satellite itself. Yeah, we also have a competence hub where we try to combine all these things, though there's also a bit egoistic reasons for me to have this modular concept because it fits very well with our company structure. So why modular security? I will not start to talk about why you need security. I hope that's been covered during the last 2 days. The reason I think we should put this into small corners is that what is cybersecurity? Nobody knows. It can really be anything. So please note, this is a picture from Henry Young. It's called the map of cybersecurity domains. And even in our own group, we have really big trouble just to defining where are we on this map. So how can we really do this with customers or in a whole space business? And another point of view, like from a project manager point of view, is what is he aiming at with cybersecurity? So we can try to explain it as this is like a slide. There are certain threats, and then there are certain things for cybersecurity he has to do to weigh out the threats. But in my opinion, the way many project managers see this is that cybersecurity is just this bottomless pit where you can throw money in. And though the counter approach to this is I want these puzzle pieces, these modules, that I can have fixed price points to just get the project rolling, to just maybe start with one piece and they relieve the other pieces for when the project is off the ground, for when we really have a market, for when we have more money to spend on security. And where to start? Yes, that's the interesting question and also the most important one. Where my concept slightly falls apart because I have to use an evil buzzword, that's security by design. I think we can discuss, it's already attempted today, and we can discuss for hours what is security by design. So I will try to explain what I think is entry-level security by design. And that is, I believe, to find this adversarial view that can also understand your project. So you basically have to find someone who understands your business case, but is also able to take a hacker viewpoint to tell you two things: your biggest weaknesses in your project and easy wins. And these biggest weaknesses and easy wins are things you can do in the beginning relatively cheaply. And if you can't, you at least know what's there. So this is really the call. Please involve security and specialist, subject matter expert in the beginning of the project, even if there's very little money involved. Just 1 or 2 weeks consulting with a security expert on your project can be really a large difference. And then, of course, this person ideally, but some of all the obvious, can identify easy wins. Hardened operating system. Over there is AK Trusted OS by CYSAT, and it will just solve so many problems. And if you don't want to use it, Linux or security enhanced Linux is also, will just solve lots of security problems and make life for a hacker really difficult, annoying. So for those that don't know, security enhanced Linux doesn't prevent people from hacking a system, but prevents them from doing anything with it once it was hacked. So this may not be super useful on a satellite or on a ground segment. If someone maybe captured a web server that's belonging to the ground segment, and there's security enhanced Linux running, he can't really do much with it. And this is super annoying, and this just decreases your threat surface, and it will have a large effect, once again, without really introducing many costs. Microsoft also has an even better solution if you want to use Windows. They keep changing the name. I think it's Windows Defender Application Control currently. You can give it a signature, a digital signature, and tell it, please only run software signed by this signature, and also Microsoft inbuilt software. And then you just have to build this signature into your development pipeline, and this Windows system will only run your software. If you do this early in the development process, it will not cost much, but we really have a large effect on your end system. And then, of course, some general rules. Just try to decrease the threat surface. VPN would be an obvious solution. Don't offer services on the internet if you can't secure these services. For example, just use a VPN. If your entry customers are okay with this, then you decrease the attack surface and can do something for security. Geo-limiting, if you just have customers from France, you can geo-limit and just not talk to someone from China or Russia. This will not stop dedicated hackers, but you're maybe not looking to stop dedicated hackers, you're just looking to decrease the threat surface a bit. And then, of course, also think about using known good designs. I hope maybe the work from the BSI will go in that direction, that we have more satellite designs where we know they are secure. ESA also has some ideas in that direction, so maybe just try it a little bit different. And the reason how you can sell this is with a simple graph. This is time in the right direction, and like work or effort in the upward direction. And you're aiming to have some security in the beginning and just increase it as the project goes on. And then what security work is concerned, you're really fighting the law of diminishing returns. So you're trying to put some things in the beginning that will cost little but have relatively large effect, and leave like the expensive things for last. And yeah, complexity is also another curve. And hopefully somewhere in the middle of this, your project will make money, and so you can increase your security time by time. But of course, if you don't have this very first module, this entry-level security by design, then your graph won't look like this. But your cost will maybe also be unplannable, and the effect will also be undefined. And then another modules. There are lots of ideas. I'll just try to put some out there. Monitoring and auditing. There are lots of very interesting products here that you can choose from. CS Group has somebody, they even implemented like an automatic rule set that you can use. So it may even be an easy win. Once again, from an attacker perspective, if I hack a system, but I can't really do what I want because it's monitored, somebody's watching me, this is just annoying and increases the work for an attacker. Security awareness. Another obvious module, just increase security awareness by users, developers. but also put it into your documentation so it's easy for everybody to read. So really, people like to forget. They do a lot for security, but then it's not documented. There are no specific guidelines. So just do this, and you can improve the system. And then we're slowly going into the more complicated modules. Once again, security by design. You really want a threat model. You once again want this adversarial view. And then you want to integrate this adversarial view in your system design. That's kind of the goal. But it's also what's enough is just keep security experts talking to your local experts, to your engineers, and you will have lots of effects that can increase your security. And now we're really going into the expensive modules. Hopefully by now your project is off the ground, it's making money, and then you can slowly start thinking about certification. Once again, this shouldn't be your first thought, but at this point in the project, maybe you can review your documentation, and maybe it's already enough to go towards ISO 27K or some other certification. Oh. And then, of course, now you have a lot of security, and then you can maybe increase it even more. There are lots of good ideas out there, and also some you already heard about, zero trust, penetration testing. There are also a lot of talks about topics like this. Fuzzing, very interesting work by the Ruhr University you can look at. And yeah, just be creative and keep increasing security. Just as a super simple example, we have a student project, it's called Beacon, where we're trying to build a basic ground segment. And the wish was to connect this to the internet, to let universities and something like this connect to the ground segment and just start using satellites. And what we ended up with as an initial concept for security was, like I said, a VPN to keep it separate from the internet, just add some monitoring, and then talk to security engineers and have some courses about basic engineering security. And with this, we are confident enough, then we can put it on the internet and make it use even with our name on it. So we are putting our money where our mouth is. Yeah, thank you for listening so far, and I'm hoping for questions.
Thank you very much, Stefan. So do we have questions from the public? I don't see for now on Connects Me. Please do not hesitate to raise them. If you want to have a seat, Stefan, you can. Or if you want to stand up, you can. Well,
absolutely.
I'm not obliging.
Want me to?
Oh, see. I'm finally not alone on the sofa.
That you're not alone on the sofa,
yeah,
yes.
Thank you. So at the very beginning, you started by saying that project managers do not believe in cybersecurity and they often do not want to invest.
Well, that's not true. That would be. But once the money is on the table, they really start thinking about, do I really need this? And from there it goes downhill often. Not as a general rule, but, well, like we keep saying, security has to be implemented early in the project. So if you just try to get out of this in an unplanned way, then it will often increase costs in the end. So my proposal is just to do this in a planned way, to do less in the beginning and more in the end.
Yeah, you've provided tools for negotiations on the long run for those budgets, so thank you. I think everyone would be interested in this. But I was wondering, as a profane, so as a non-expert of the situation, we've been talking during these 2 days of cross risks, sometimes threats that are at the intersection of the different models you presented, for instance.
Yeah.
How does the modular security addresses those intersecting threats?
Well, one hope would be that this security by design, this one of these modules, that really that you can do this during the whole project. And also one hope would be, even if you need external experts in the beginning, by the time you're off the ground, so to speak, your project is established, you will also have built some in-house expertise that can exactly look at these corners. So, yeah, there's a certain risk that you just leave some corners out. But what I'm saying, it's better to ignore some things than just to try to do nothing. Because I think that's what we're often seeing, and that's what the more dangerous part is.
Yes. Still no questions from the public? Do not hesitate. Please don't be shy. You've just told about... sorry, I lost track on what I was about to say. Yeah, you talked about ignoring some things and trying to raise awareness on the main issues. Throughout these 2 days, we've been talking about private and public partnerships and how the requirements decided by the legislator, the European Commission, ESA, et cetera, have an impact on industries. How do you build on that, and how do you mobilize this when you're negotiating some models, for instance? Because I think that those requirements are disseminated in all the modular strategy.
Yes. I think you can put this into the module of accreditation, that this is one of your goals you should be working towards. That you maybe don't completely adhere to these rules at the beginning, but you know what you, at least write down what you have to do to maybe comply with these rules later in a partnership. So you can, once again, get the project started and then comply with rules later. And also, it was said today in the panel, just to leave some holes in your design, you can fill later with public requirements.
Indeed. Indeed. Still no question? What would be a question you would like the audience to address to a professional like you are?
Well, we have another project where we're actually applying this to others, so I can talk a little bit about this. We are applying this concept. So we also have the MMCC, the Multi-Mission Control Center, and it's basically the same thing. We're a very big company. Historically, we've done high-level security for governmental contracts, and now we're trying to do satellite as a service for all kinds of companies. And we run into exactly this problem. How do we get this off the ground? So we're basically starting with the first module of just doing some small in-house consulting, identify the biggest threats that absolutely have to be addressed, and some easy wins, and just see where it goes. And if it works, and they're actually customers with larger requirements, then we will continue with other modules.
So you would say that it is likely to function?
Yes, I absolutely hope so. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think we might have the right round of questions. This project, you're working actually on it. What is the time scope when you're starting a project like the one you just described?
You mean on the security side? Basically, we can make everything work. That's also... The problem starts when security is kind of this ivory tower that stands of itself. I mean, we can... And what I'm saying here is we can also just do small packages. And so we can already have a large effect with just a week of notice, and just to give some ideas where are the important parts. And then, of course, if you're talking real security, like putting APIs on the internet or launching a satellite and really securing the satellite, then unfortunately, we're talking about months and years.
Yeah.
But once again, this entry level, this can be really, really fast.
Good. Thank you very much. I think you convinced so well the audience that it was crystal clear. I think we can give you another round of applause. Thank you very much, Stefan.
Thank you as well.